Я солдат.
Я не спал 5 лет, и у меня под глазами мешки.
Я сам не видел,
но мне так сказали.
Я солдат.
И у меня нет башки, мне отбили ее сапогами. Йо-йо-йо, комбат орет, разорванный рот у комбата, потому что граната, белая вата, красная вата не лечит солдата.
Я солдат,
недоношенный ребенок войны.
Я солдат,
мама, залечи мои раны.
Я солдат,
солдат забытой Богом страны.
Я герой.
Скажите мне, какого романа? Уе,
уе, Я солдат.
Мне обидно, когда остается один патрон, только я или он. Последний вагон, самогон, нас таких миллион.
Во-о-о-о. Я солдат.
И я знаю свое дело, мое дело стрелять, чтобы пуля попала в тело врага. Это рога для тебя, мама, война, теперь ты довольна.
Я солдат,
недоношенный ребенок войны.
Я солдат,
мама, залечи мои раны.
Я солдат,
солдат забытой Богом страны.
Я герой.
Скажите мне, какого романа? Уе,
уе,
I'm a soldier, 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 soldier, soldier. I'm a soldier, 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 soldier, soldier.
Я солдат,
недоношенный ребенок войны.
Я солдат,
мама, залечи мои раны.
Я солдат,
солдат забытой Богом страны.
Я герой.
Скажите мне, какого романа? Уе,
уе,
Hello everyone. So what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to be working on Anthrodesis Dissonance, formerly Shadowrun Black Mohawk. Ooh, all right, here's a little bit of a preface to thing. Also, I would like to thank Saba Senior, our Saba SR, for following. Cool, we're at 68 people. One more to the funny number. So why did I ship? Hello, Barrick. Why did I move over to this Anthrodesis Dissonance? Well, if you actually break down the words, it's anthro is human, desis is merging or pretty much fusing together, and dissonance obviously means something isn't right. You know, it's not correct. And how do I word this? Shadowrun Black Mohawk was taking so much out of me to even attempt it that it was just like, oh god, like every step of the way for that fucking project felt like a goddamn slog. Yeah, Black Mohawk does sound cooler, but it didn't really fit with the theme anymore, so it would be kind of like a redundant name. That was kind of the issue. It didn't really fit with the theme at that point, so it's like, yeah, okay, we'll drop it. But One of the big things about Shadowrun that I enjoyed the most, the part that I liked about Shadowrun, was the merging between two very separate things. Magic and technology, fantasy and the future. Merging those things all together is what fascinated me about Shadowrun so much, and one of the parts of it that I loved about it. However, however, Shadowrun didn't like me, and the more I delved into it, the more that I was picking apart each little itty bitty piece of it. It felt like every single step of the way was like me trying to claw through a fucking it was trying to swim through molasses and hope for the best. So I said fuck it, and on Monday I just said fuck it. And I looked at it, I took a step back and said, okay, I like the idea of future meet past or fantasy meet sci-fi. That's kind of an interesting idea. And then I remembered one very unique genre, we'll call it. Let me see if I can find them. Now, I have a Slav in the chat here, so he understands. Which is Russian lit RPGs. I am fascinated by these in more than a few ways. I remember seeing some of the initial covers for them. These aren't even like the really egregious looking ones. There are some which are completely fucking insane, usually involving the Russians driving tanks to fight dragons. It's kind of its own unique we'll call it brand of game. And lit RPGs are at their core here. Let me see if I can find. Let me see if I can bring those ones up. Let's see the most egregious looking one. Okay, there we go. Now this is pod racing. It's things like these, kind of like this break in. You have like this very like fantasy stuff going on. You have Russian soldiers. It's a very bizarre genre, and I would like to go deeper into Russian lit RPGs someday because they are fascinating and they are very strange and usually involve things occur in Russian lit RPGs, and there's like some weird isekai elements to things. And so in my rantings, in my delusion last night on Monday, I came up with Anthrodesis Dissonance. Humans merging into a dissonant thing. So what did I do? What is the thing? Well, the base lore. Yeah, the base lore of Anthrodesis Dissonance, or AD, is humanity became the cyberpunk future that we all despise, with a little bit of fucking Command and Conquer in there, specifically Tiberian. Yeah, specifically the Tiberian Wars, which there are zones and people are going to being regulated down. The world's collapsing. Oh no, we need more resources to fuel the machine that we need to live. And how do we do it? Well, they opened a gate to another world, a parallel reality, which is pretty much Hyboria. And we walked in being like, holy shit, they got oil. Holy shit, they have untapped literally everything. It is an open season there. Hello, phone. And I went with that idea. We've clashed, and it's effective. Is it Gate? Yes, it is Gate. Is Gate a good anime? Absolutely not. Is Gate a good manga? Absolutely not. Terrible series. Written by a fucking imperialist otaku. It's great. But I went with the idea of how do you forcefully merge two settings together. I also based off of a setting I liked in anime that was really deliciously mediocre, which is Copcraft. Let me see one where she isn't wearing her fucking battle bikini. Let's not get yeeted off of. Yeah, alright, so. Yeah, which the entire plot of this show is, hey, you're the, like, it's literally, here's a cop drama, but he lives in a city that is on the edge of Fantasyland, and Fantasyland people are coming over here, and they have magic, so what do? You have to have a special forces unit, in which he gets his lolly elf waifu. But don't worry, she's legal. Yeah. Like, don't worry, officer. She's fine. But the entire idea is, what does a society do when you have introduced two very different things to it? You have one society that was kind of, quote, backwards. I would not be surprised if this was a premise in another game. I looked around and couldn't really find anything solid. It was a lot of, we can run this in 5e and things like that. So I'm like, okay, maybe kind of an odd thing. And I'm keeping it open. You want to run Copcraft, you can run Copcraft in it. You want to run Gate, you can run Gate in it. You want to run Stalker in it, I guess you could do that. That's its own thing. But what I did effectively at its core was break things down into what's needed. And made things a little bit easier. I did exactly what I wanted to do. Know what nobody else wanted to. It was mine. We have Anima's just soul. Honestly, that's literally all it is. I kept this system. It's not perfect, and I'm still not happy with all of the numbers. And I feel like there is some part of it that's like something isn't adding up, and I don't know what it is. But I'm hunting for it. I'm trying to find that beautiful number. Attribute points remain the same. Skills remain the same. Like, a lot of these, like, everything, like, remains roughly the same. It's just the context behind it's a little bit different. One of the things being heart is technically can be split into 3 different things, which is edge, magic, or what I'm going to call combat training. If you want to do like a more military thing, which gives you bonuses. Yeah, no, send it my way. There, you know. Now, one of the big things too is I changed metatype to ethnotypes. And if we scroll down here a little ways, and some skills got changed. Mostly, this is the 3 that got changed. I cut down the charisma skills to man talk, gutter talk, mystic talk. Man talk is dealing with humans. Mystic talk is dealing with the residents of Shinchaku, which is the place I called it, which is literally just new in Japanese. And gutter talk, which is dealing with shitty people who don't exist. Outside of that, everything remained relatively the same here. iPhone. Now, ethnotypes and cultures, what I did was I broke everything down into smaller. That looks anime as fuck, Barrett. That is anime as fuck. And who's pinging me? Who wants to talk? Let's go visit who's entering my site. Hamburg, Germany. We have a hamburger here. And San Ramon, the US. Because I get a ping anytime anyone visits my site. And there's like... Bethany, Canada. Someone linked my site. I think. Because, like, here's one fun thing. I've actually had someone from, it was, I think, Doncaster or something, fucking UK, who visited my site like 6 times over the course of 2 days. It was like, you're looking for something. So I have a strange and beautiful feeling somebody... Yes, phone. Kaliningrad. I have a feeling I know who that is. Oh no. Yeah, let me put on Do Not Disturb here real fast. But now I broke things down into the ethnotypes, which if you ethnotype by like technicality is not a real word. Technically with Anthrodesis as well, but ethnotype, according to here to the Urban Dictionary, is characteristic or type of quality of an organism with the exact level of extrinsic complexity that rises to the point of forming a discrete and evolving, however slowly, aspect of distinctive cultural created structure. Which is to say, what I'm doing here is these are broken down into various different kinds of races that you can kind of pick and choose how you want to run them with. For example, the low races here always will equal 0 in their benefits. You get things like goblins. Goblins literally just get low light vision and -1 charisma because goblins are short, green, and nobody likes them. Gnomes get a +1 intelligence and a +2 to their, +2 bonus dice to their artisan tinkering. They're really fragile though. These are low people. They are people of this world that are not really people. The human ethnotype is pretty standard. You get a +1. Humans get a +1 to any attribute. They're pretty cool. Then here's some example ones like, hey, the Mergen. You are like they're pretty much Innsmouth people. The orcs get more strength. The satyrs get charisma. The younger, not elves, get a little bit of both, but not as much strength. I didn't get these done, fun fact, but I wanted to work on other things today. These are the high ethnotypes are people who are really cool and have really cool things, such as being a dwarf or a minotaur, or the how do I remember how to pronounce these? I think it's a Yasheretsia, which is literally just lizard people because that's where the Russian gate opened. And the Ariosis, they're giant rat men because I couldn't call them Char with good effort. You also get things like Kodiaks and Kodamas. I want to get the idea across that some of these races are a little bit weird, and I want to go with that pretty hard. So, let's keep going. So, this is pretty much editing day. Like, we have to change everything over, which doesn't seem that impact. Yeah, Riesresta. There we go. Yeah, they're pretty much lizard people. All right, I'm good. Yeah, they're pretty much giant lizard people that the Russians befriended because the Russians cannot help but like befriend lizard people who accept communism. They sit and cling to their glory. So this is where things get a little bit complicated. So what we need to do is open you up. Varric, I don't believe you can say that. Oh, someone's going to the sadness pit. Okay, characters archetype acts as a method for them to influence the world at large without a gun in hand. The character purchases hearts. They must divide it between either edge, magic, actually be combat training, edge, or magic. For legal reasons, that is a joke. Yeah, pretty much. Edge can be spent during. we'll call it, let's call it let's base it on session. So edge can be spent during a session, gaining a +1 bonus time, mitigate a single penalty, or suffer a grazing hit, which doesn't do any damage. Edges restored at the start. Edge is restored when the to take a deep allowed to take a good rest. Magic on the hand, character ability to tap into the man of the world, so we want to do combat training. Combat training X. Character's raw ability to actually fight in a hostile location. Combat training dice can be spent during combat to increase the odds of success for the character. Every combat training can actually, what I should say is combat training can be spent adding bonus initiative, reducing adding dice to a combat pool, or dealing +1 hit, +1 damage whenever the character deals it. So add do a skill check. So combat training is at its core your combat training, your ability to kind of push through and do cooler things. It's you acting faster. It's you adding dice to your combat pool. If it's you, oh no, you're fighting someone, in hand-to-hand combat, you're not really skilled in that, you're more of a gun guy, you can still add your combat dice to that pool. You're spending it, mind you, but it actually allows you to fight relatively better. It gives you just that little bit of advantage over someone who doesn't have it. Edge is more defensive. That's how I want to do it anyway. You're burning edge because you're just that, you got that edge. You're adding a +1 bonus dice to that hacking check because you need to do that hacking check. You're adding a +1 bonus die to your ability, your ability to leap over there because you're just that good. You're mitigating a penalty. You only suffer a grazing hit, when you were to take damage, because you just have that slight edge. Actually, we'll do combat die, combat training die, are restored. Magic, on the other hand, is a character's ability to tap into the man of the world and manipulate on a whim. A character who has magic is considered... We need to change that. How do we want to word this? How do we want to word people who have magic? We can probably call it something pretentious. And we'll keep it awakened with 1 to 3 are actually fuck, how do I want to word this? A character is considered to be how do we want to word this? There's a couple options what we can do to word this. So if we have magic, we're cool, and we're, some races naturally have magic, some don't. So we probably want to do... energized? Enhanced? Ah, I know. Any character who has magic considered to be enchanted in some manner. Characters with 1 to 3 magic. Characters with only 1 to 3 magic are considered lessers. Lessers only tapping into a fraction of their power with limited access to different spells. Characters are fully active and can use magic freely. Magic is treated as an attribute which can be called for with magic times 2 spells of their choice in their field. Some spells build on top of each other. As the characters advance, maybe they will be able to mysteries of the arcane arts. Okay, resources. Initial set of resources. The character's chosen resources determine what equipment and tools they will begin with. Our resources can be expended for the character arsenal. Resources can also purchase initial cybernetics for human characters. Actually, initial cybernetics as well as artifacts for the artifacts. Whatever resources are not spent, whatever resources are not spent are converted into what would be, you need to have a method of currency that would be able and willing and able to be used in a quick manner. Like a preliminary currency? How do I want it? It's a fiat currency. Commodities such as gold. Now, fiat currency doesn't actually have any legal value. Well, it has value, but... but it would be a... What would be a transitionary currency? There we go. Transition currencies. Payment voucher-based system exchangeable with national currency. So it's voucher based. Okay. Oh yeah, we can actually convert it into either 250 Shinchaku coins, or 1500. It would be Fujimata. Fujimara yen. Yeah, it would be Fuji yen. Or Fuji yen. Pretty much, you can either adopt the local currency or the shitty fiat currency currently being used by humans who have set up shop in the area. That is correct, yeah. Which is a private currency. That holds value inside of the inside actually holds value in Shinchaku, but a little else. Yeah, convert your money into real money, please. Shinchaku coins can be spent for many things, but not that. So what we need to do now is, so these are hearts. I'm gonna put a note here for myself. Qualities? Question mark. Half of me wants to add qualities, the other half of me doesn't. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna post this, and we're going to do finishing touches. The character, at this point, the character has spent all of their anima. And are ready to explore the twin worlds. Actually, the wander is spent, because that's what I'm calling them. Wanders have spent. Explore the twin worlds. To finalize the character creation process. Take note of the following factors, which we're going to have as essence. All characters have an essence value, representing their ties to the magical world, as well as their ability to, as well as we can call it the strength of their soul. All Shinchaku residents have a essence 6, representing their latent connection to the still magical world. Humans have an essence 0, because they don't have magic and cannot manipulate their soul's energy. Should a resident of Shinchaku integrate cyberware into their system, into their body, will reduce their essence by that amount. Reduce their essence by that amount. by the amount specified. This represents the magical side of their physiology, not comprehending the foreign metal, and integration into their body. Because cyberware eats your soul. However, it doesn't eat human souls. That's the ultimate catch. You as humans can have as much cyberware as you want. You don't give a shit. You're not magical. However, your local elf cannot actually have that much because its body will literally reject it. It's like, no. Stop that. For metal integration into their body. Receive cyberware into their body. They will resist by the amount specified. More metal integration into their body. Should a resident hit 0 essence, their body completely rejects itself as they morph into a cyber zombie, into a husk. As they morph into a husk, a barely thinking entity. On the other hand, actually what we should do is make a new paragraph. Humanity, however, humanity adopted cyberware easily. Able to integrate it into their bodies ease. However, certain aspects of the magical world act as a parasite. And humanity raising their essence should they be exposed to it. At the earliest stages, they may suffer some illness. But more advanced arcane radiation that they suffer, the worse it becomes. Usually ending in death at 6 essence, as the tumors in their body attempts to formally release magic into their bodies, killing them. That is the catch. The ultimate catch here is that you living in the magical world is great and wonderful. However, magic is also kind of like cancer and will kill you. You need to kind of understand that life's great here. There is endless possibility. We can get work. We can do all these cool things. However, we're also living somewhat on borrowed time. Because we have to go back. We have to take the pills. We have to... You're pretty much constantly suffering from radiation sickness the longer you're there. If you get blasted by magic, your essence is going to start raising. Which is interact with more weird magic things. Guess what? Your radiation is going to start increasing as well. You need to kind of manage that. And the deeper you go, you're going to want to put on suits. You're going to put on effectively like hazmat suits. But if you're in the main area, the Shinchaku zone, kind of like the main areas like right outside the gates, you're pretty okay because there's no magic there. You suck out the magic effectively. Who's good and who's bad? Neither side is good or bad. It's literally both bad. Like you have a backwards cult. You effectively have a backwards culture who's like, yeah, there are just people who are lesser than us. And humanity is like, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. So actually, we need to do call it character knowledge. Knowledges. A wander is rarely just a wander is rarely fresh off. It is rarely an amnesia. How do I want to word this? Knowledges. Wanderers know things. They are experienced. In their cultures and concepts of their people, as well as their problems. Being drawn from all walks of life, each wanderer is going to bring their own knowledge to the table of their expeditions. Each character, actually, human characters begin with three knowledges. Actually, I'll do knowledges can be broken down into academics, professions, hobbies, academics, professions, hobbies, and standings or societies. Broken down. These have no mechanic. While they don't do anything outright. Knowledges inform what the character knows and how they can use it to their advantage. And what I'm going to have to do is put a side note in here as well. Human characters begin with 3 knowledges of their choice. Resident characters begin with 2 knowledges of their choice. And a society's racial. Let me see. While they don't do anything outright, knowledge is informed what the character knows and how they can use it to their advantage. 3 knowledges, resident characters get 2 knowledges of their choice. And a society racial, representing knowledge of their own people. Okay. So we're going to do side note, knowledge function. And I don't know how I want to write that side note yet. So what we'll do now is blood and gore. Blood and gore health. A wanderer's Physical well-being is measured in 3 tiers. Flesh, light, and mortal. Actually, it'd be flesh, severe, and mortal wounds. Each tier, actually starting at flesh wounds. Whenever the wanderer takes damage or suffers harm, they reduce that tier's health. Actually, the current tier they are on health. Okay. They reduce the current tier they are on by that amount. When a tier's wounds are completely reduced, they will suffer a penalty. Penalty of -2 dice to all of their checks. You just lose 2 dice to your pool. So let's say, for example, I have 10 dice, 10d6 that I'm going to roll for a check. If I have no flesh wounds, I'm going to take 2 of those dice away and they are gone. It's, I've lost those dice. Actually, when a wounds tier is completely reduced, they'll suffer a penalty of... penalty of dice to all of their checks. Until it is restored. How did I decide? How did I say I want to do this? Did I put it in here? No, I don't. I don't think you're useful anymore. Okay. So flesh wounds, which are going to be your bod times 3. You're going to have your severe wounds, which is going to be your bod times 2. Your mortal wounds, which is simply just going to be your bod. So if you have a bod of, let's say, 4, you're going to have 12, 8, 4 health. That's how that works. At your core, you have 24 health, which doesn't seem like a lot, and the answer is it's not supposed to. You're going to go down very quickly if you're not actually like keeping track of yourself. These numbers might get increased, they might not. I don't know yet. They reduce the current tier they are on by that amount. When tier's wounds completely reduced, they will suffer a penalty of dice to all their... We'll do a negative 2 penalty. -2 die. Actually, no, fuck it. We'll just make it clear. They'll suffer a -2 a penalty of negative. So that'd be 3, 6. So you're losing about 6 dice at your core. Actually, we can add deaths. Mortal. Death's Door in 4 tiers. And Death's Door starting at flesh wounds. When the Death's Door tier is reduced to 0, they are considered to be dead. Now, the best part about this system is that I get to integrate one of my favorite mechanics, which is called the pass the fuck out mechanic. Which, if you are on severe or mortal wounds, you have the option to just pass out during combat. You're out of the fight, but you're not going to die. You are in grave danger. You are injured, but you're not going to die unless someone shoots you. But you can power on, but it's just not going to be fun. Actually, what I can do, we can just make that will. I get people with a lot of will being like, yeah, no, I can survive a little bit longer, but you're suffering -9 dice at this point, because it would be -3, -6, -9. Like, you are not doing fuck all at that point. You are crawling because you are a death's door, and it's only based on your willpower. Yeah, I think that works. Just perished. Oh. And what am I missing? What am I missing? What am I missing? So we're missing, so we've got essence, knowledge is blood and gore. Heart, resources, finishing touches, ethnotypes and cultures. That is literally just going to be me having to do that by hand because it's going to be a bitch. 4K. Okay. We're good. Let's double check this. So we need to change this entire wording. So Anthrodesis Dissonance is at its core the game is solving problems in a method that best fits the team. To represent this, there are 4 pillars. There are 4 pillars of interactions with the world. Interactions, combat, magic, tech, and social. Each with their own upsides and downsides for pursuing. Team wandering teams and expeditions tend to focus on one in particular, or have a team of diverse talent to cover all of their bases. The only requirement is to come home safe and sound. Safe and sound, no matter what occurs, what happens. Anthrodesis Dissonance. Anthrodesis. So, okay. Initiative is not receiving that many changes. You want to know why initiative is not receiving that many changes? Because it kind of works. When... Actually, what should say is... with a decade behind them, the wars between Earth and Shinchaku have settled. However, combat and warfare still persists in isolated skirmishes and the old blood feuds between the people, between the residents. Not counting humanity's disunity in their approach to handling the situation. If you want to play pretty much border cops, you can. That's fine. You want to play border cops and geek people, cool. You want to play a stalker, cool. Want to go to Fantasyland as a cheeky breaky? Yeah, no, that's fine. So, our initiative system. So when a fight breaks out, each character rolls a 1d6, or the 1d6 plus quick. Yeah, plus quick. Actually, each character rolls 1d6 plus combat training die plus quickness to determine who acts first. To determine who will act first in the initiative order. In a descending order, each participant will take their actions. If character has 11 plus initiative, if a character, actually, how do I want to do this? If the character has 11 plus initiative, at the end of the round, they will act again in descending order again. Ascending order again in an initiative pass. At the end of order, they'll act again in descending order in a initiative pass. Initiative pass. Second initiative pass will occur if any character has a 21 plus initiative. Resolving the same way. You're getting 21 plus initiative by spending a lot of combat dice. That's kind of the idea. Good soldiers are going to be able to do a lot more shit than someone who isn't trained in combat at all. The idea being, it's you, cheeky breaky, I'm going to start shooting you, bang, bang, bang. However, I want to have that idea kind of going through, that you can target someone's initiative. So the current tournament resolving the same way. Yeah. Before initiative is calculated. There we go. This sounds really awkward down here, but it's the only really way I can think of saying it. Characters turn, they may perform 2 simple actions or 1 complex action. It's free action, they can perform once per round if they wish. Certain actions have a secondary action underneath them. have a secondary effect underneath them that can be used in tandem at the cost of the second simple action. Reactions. Call shot. Gesture speak. Maneuver. I do actually Shadowrun combat maps. Huh. I don't really think about that. I always did theater of the mind stuff. Alright, we're using fucking space distance anyway, so short distance. The character moves up to moves 1 SD in any direction of their choice. It moves a short distance up to 1 SD in any direction. Simple actions. Command spirit. Are we even really dealing with spirits? Yeah, I guess we are dealing with spirits. Character orders spirit to perform a task. Actually, what we can do is command binding. Command bound entity. Orders a bound entity to perform a task for every to perform a task. They are able to, if a they're able to certain bound entities if they are unable to complete, if they have see the bound entity can only obey its chosen, can only obey its, how do I want it? Okay, it's binding. Because it's only binding contract. And that's how we're gonna handle summoners. Contract law. Binding contract. Use a ranged weapon. Fires and aim. Hit will strike a number of bolt equal to the successes. Spending ammunition. For each die rolled. Expending equal to the number of dice rolled times 2. So if you roll 6 dice, you're going to be rolling 12. You're going to have 12 bullets. Exit. Those are holding down the trigger. Actually, be using ammunition. This might get changed. I'm not too confident on that. Depends on how I want to handle guns. Use a melee weapon. All right. Actually, I'm going to split that up a little bit because I can. The runner quickly slices and dices with their weapon, attacking up to their quick with combo plus 2 TN. They can immediately continue the combo, because that's what we want to do. We want to continue combos, because combos are cool. The runner, the character. Shift position is standing. reduce silhouette by 1. Reduce silhouette by 1. Reduce silhouette by 2. Can only maneuver for a movement. Silhouette by 2. Actually, it would be maneuver. Loop. So, okay, we want to do, how do we want to do this? So, reduce the silhouette, which actually I gotta remember to put the silhouette up here, actually. Silhouette. I'm gonna keep misspelling this word, by the way. Actually. Silhouette represents size and ability. The size of the character, which also correlates to how difficult they are to hit. Smaller characters have a lower silhouette, while larger ones have a higher silhouette. To determine the character's survival rating. It's actually what we do: silhouette and survival rating. Actually, nah, we'll just use silhouette. Actually, how do I want to word this? Because we're using silhouette for the idea of how big the character is. So we can do it. We'll call it this. We'll give him a survival rating because we kind of need to do that. So what we can do is the survival rating is how likely the character can avoid damage avoid attacks coming at them, and how able they are to avoid. How likely is the character to avoid attacks coming at them, and how able they are to coming at them, be it likely they can avoid attacks coming at them. To determine the survival rating of a character. Actually, this acts as the number of successes needed to hit the character in a straight combat situation. Determine the survival rating of a character. It is silhouette minus 5. Actually, no, it'd be silhouette. So if I have a lower silhouette, silhouette minus 5. Silhouette minus 5 plus modifiers. Modifiers. What are modifiers? Things like cybernetic enhancement, magic spells, general things that make sure that you don't die. This is your natural, effectively, ability to do it. So if I'm shooting a basic human, I'm going to need to roll 2 successes to hit them. By just default of them just standing there, me and a gun at decent distance, we're just shooting at each other. I would need to roll 2 successes. To drop survival, it is silhouette minus 5 plus modifier. Okay. Ooh, excuse me. Ran out of coffee. To determine the survival rating of character, silhouette minus 5 plus modifier. So if I have a silhouette of 3, it'd be 3 minus 5. Actually, it'd be 5 minus silhouette. 5 minus silhouette. So it would be 5 minus 3 would be 2. Okay. This is the required amount. Successes can be augmented, and actually, the average size of a human being is 3. While most of the standard races, well, most of the races of Shinchaku range from 2 to 4. And what we're going to do is footnote, yes, this does mean it's exceptionally easy to get shot and die. Get behind cover. It will save you. That's what I want to emphasize, is cover-based shooting. Every goddamn time. Because if you really think about it, it's not that hard to hit someone with a weapon or it's not difficult to hit someone with anything. The hard part is either A, doing damage with it, or B, compensating for it. If I walk up to you, it's pretty easy to hit you with a gun. However, the catch being, it's exceedingly easy to hit you with that gun. It is not exceedingly, easy for you to do what you're going to do to me with that gun, if I get close to you with a gun. Or, it's once you've kind of hit that point where you're kind of running up to each other, it's like, oh God, we're doing this, we're doing it now. Oh no. And that's the point. So Shinchaku. So, because you get things like this as well, which is like +4 to the target number. Actually, straight combat. This acts as the quote target number of the target. So hit it. You're pretty much like, oh no, I need 2 successes to hit. Their TN is 2. I need 6 successes now to hit their head. I need, 4 successes to hit them. That's what you're now seeing how things work. I want to see in any direction. Use versus targets. Survival rating. So do I call it Do I call it SR? Yeah. I don't know why I keep using survival rating for it, but it's always worked. On to their next range weapon attack, closed. Reduce silhouette by 2. Yeah. Can only maneuver, and is considered on the ground. So things like going prone is very valuable. It's your ass is on the ground and it's harder for you to get shot at, especially when you get to people who are like human, for example. Going prone Means that you have raised your difficulty to hit by 2. Problem is, you're on the fucking ground and you're not going anywhere fast. So let's see. Hype up. Can breathe and hype themselves up for the fight. They add 1d6 to their initiative. Okay. Or spell casting. Stun damage equal to the amount. Actually, what we can add is we can add initiative crash. Initiative crashing. If a character takes, quote, stun damage, from an attack, or from a weapon, we'll say from a weapon or magical effect, the character reduces their total initiative by the amount. If a character reaches negative initiative, they are considered to be suffering initiative crash. While crashed, they can only use the hype up action. Actually, while crashed, they can only use a simple action. Use a single simple action. They can only use a single simple action as they struggle to keep their breath. Keep themselves up. Their SR is reduced to 0. Their natural SR is reduced to 0 during this time, meaning that the only thing preventing their demise, preventing them from getting hit, is the cover or natural situations they are in. You don't want to suffer initiative crash. That's very bad. You're not going to have a good time. What we can do is we can add a tire out. Actually attack the enemy at all. Simply feint, twist, and confuse them in the attempt. Into the attempt to and confuse them. They don't. Any successes rolled are reduced. Instead, inflict stun damage on the target. So the idea is saying, I'm not actually going to do any damage to you. I'm instead just going to crash your initiative. It's really good if I have like a shitty knife or something and I need to just like reduce, like doing damage to you isn't worth it. But if I crash your initiative, my friends can beat you up. So, okay. And that brings me to what we need to do is add in. I need to fix this entire section to make it a little bit prettier, but I'll work on that at another time. So when I figure out how to do it. breather. Takes a moment and catches their breath. They restore 1 initiative. You are not supposed to use breather in normal situations. You want to know what you use breather for? You use it in between hype ups. Hype up, you get a lot more out of it. Now you're getting a lot more stuff out of that when they're using hype up, but it's still not as like, it's not perfect. But actually, less combat training die. CTD. So pretty much if you hype up, you can say, okay, I'm going to spend like 2 of my combat training dice on it and roll 3d6 and massively increase it. Sprint coming up to 2 SD, couple complex object, use skill, interrupt actions, defend, dive. And we're going to say the pass out option. We're going to say all initiative. All initiative to 0. The character who is suffering from serious or mortal wounds may choose to simply pass out from the pain. If they do, they are removed from combat as a viable target. But no longer suffers the consequence, no longer suffers the penalties. What does this actually mean? It means 2 things. We are in a fight. We're fighting with other people. Oh no, I have been injured. I can't really contribute anymore. My time isn't going to be spent doing much else outside limping away or, being kind of caught out on it. Now, you can still limp away. You can still, start blind firing or just doing something. But if you're like, but you're still being kind of registered as a legitimate threat. If you're passed out, you're kind of signaling to the GM being like, I'm out of the fight. Do not target me anymore. That's your kind of target. Being like, I'm out. I'm passed out. I'm not dead though, because remember, death's door 0. You are dead. You have expired. Passing out means you're not losing any more health. You're not going to be targeted anymore. You're still alive, if only for a few minutes. Like, that's kind of the concept there. I'm give you a little bit something else to do. What else do we had another. Actually, what we can do, yeah, no, this is fine. Pass out. Thematic, it works. So we've got all the numbers here set up. Combat is good. With combat set up, we should be in a good place to continue everything else. Doesn't look like we actually got that much done, but we actually got quite a bit done today. Mostly fixing things up. Like, honestly, that was like the big thing that we needed to fix up. So, combat's done. So now we need to work on, so we've got Ethnotypes done, universal health systems done, body size is done. You're done. Drain work, so you're good. You're good. You're good. Okay, so now we need to just work on the magic stuff. And let's see, we're an hour and a half in. So what I'm going to do, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to write up some basic stuff for the magic stuff in between. Why? Because I need to make sure it actually is working the way that I'm seeing. Because if we go to my prelim document, one of the core things with magic is how I was going to do it is like, okay, I can adapt some of the spells. What I want to kind of do here is almost have a method for me to build my own spells. So for example, let's say I have a magic stat of 3. I'm going to have 3 times 5 equals 15 force, or good boy points, whatever. I don't fucking care. We'll call it force for now. Force to build some of my spells that I want to build. These are going to be my spells. Now, what you can do is say like, oh, I want an elemental effect. And then from there you have to, yeah, so it's like, oh, I want an elemental effect plus damage 3 plus, range 3. So it might be the elemental effect might cost 3 force, damage might cost 6, and the range 3s might cost like 3. So it'd be in total, if we crunch the numbers, wow, it's under 15 force. So I get my 12-point spell. That's just what I get. I can build these using my force. I might come up with a few spells that are like, here are some example ones, like some basic ones, but it's like customize some of your own and make some of your own and how you want to do that. But like damage 3 isn't a lot. It's our gun effectively, but it's also magic, and I also got an elemental effect on it. So what the goal is reposition magic into do things with it rather than be an end all like super awesome thing. So it's like, well, I don't really want to do that much damage with my 15 force, under 15 force spell, so I'm just going to be the elemental effect, acid. But I'm going to have a range of 5 on it. And it's only going to cost me, what did I do? 3 plus 5. So it's only going to cost me 8 force. I actually have this, but I can shoot acid now. And it's just me spewing acid everywhere. And that's useful in its own way. It's me spewing water. And how I'm going to be doing this is you're going to have a certain amount of effectively rote spells if you're part of the hermetic method, or you're going to have bound things if you're more shamanistic. So rote spells are going to be things like, I'm going to have my own personal set of spells. These are mine. I can cast these relatively freely for a complex action. More complex magic, if I want to do something completely different under my magic limit, I need to spend the complex action to start it, and then have to spend it the next time. So it's a game of going back and forth, of timing. Where do I want to do this? Do I need to time it here? Do I need to time it later? Or do I just fire off my rote spells and hope for the best? Shamans, on the other hand, take their force and use it more as a currency to kind of buy things for themselves. So it's like, I'm a shaman. I'm a bear 4 shaman. So let's say, for example, I'm a shaman, and I have a bear thing that costs 5. That might cost me 15 force in total. I don't fucking know how I want to do this yet. Since I have that 5 bear, I get all of the benefits of having that 5 bear. I can't really cast any magic, though. I have to cast what bear wants me to cast. If the bear wants me to cast something, I'm going to have to cast what he wants. So that's kind of how I'm choosing to position magic. It's going to be a little bit different, it's going to be a little bit odd, but I need to make sure that it works. Does the system, as of right now, are we getting to a good place? Ironically, yes. Combat, I saw it. I'm like, okay, combat's going to be the longest part. It's going to be a hard part. I don't quite know about it. Not going to be actually that difficult. One of the other amusing things is magic is, I'm going to be doing a lot of this tech stuff and all the matrix stuff. Like, oh, wow, how do I do matrix things? We're going to be positioning magic kind of as that, which humans have been interacting with. There's some enchanted bullshit going on here. Oh no, we can't pass the enchanted wall. Look at it, it's so magical. And like some asshole's just gonna, jack in with a fucking device and effectively hack the magic. Magicians can also do that. They're be able to hack magic. Nobody's using the same system for that. The main thing with tech is you're going to be employing items, grenades, equipment, various to do things with. It's the idea of, I have in my head a cybernetic device that allows me to remotely control a drone that can see for me. Because I'm a crazy cyberpunk human in this horrifying fantasy bullshit land. I have a device that if I click it's going to start triggering things. That's kind of how I want to position tech. Tech is guaranteed, but limited. Always are going to happen. The idea is using it to do what you want it to do. Magic is chaos. You don't quite understand what it's going to be doing at any time. You kind of have to meld it to how you want it. Social is going to be the easiest system in the world to write. And I might just write that in the meantime, but I'm really fucking hungry. I'm going to make myself dinner. And what that is going to be, you're going to have reactions, you're going to have basic faction relations, and you're going to be having pretty much how the job system's going to be working. Which is going to be, you have a contract to fulfill. That is your job. If you fulfill the contract, you get X, Y, and Z. And it's going to be kind of a system of like, this is how you kind of navigate these social situations with a little bit of social and majiggering mechanics in there. How I want to do that yet? I have no fucking clue, but I'm winging it. The types of campaigns, equipment's going to be a little bit long. I don't quite know how extensive I want to get the equipment list. I might go fairly extensive, but not like too crazy. That's just going to be kind of playing it by a rule of thumb depending on how I choose to do damage. If I can get one gun to work properly, I'm good. And then I can just kind of base everything off from there. The types of campaigns, the basic premises are you can either play a human campaign where you're exploring the other world as humans. You can play a Shinchaku campaign, which you are playing the residents of the other world and kind of dealing with the humanity invading your world. And you can also deal mixed ones, which are you're dealing with the issues behind both. I'm also going to put in a note of saying, fuck using this setting, do whatever the hell you want to do with it. If you want to run Fantasy Stalker, go for it. If you want to run Copcraft, go for it. You want to run any of these other kind of settings. If you want to run Conan meets Star Trek, I can't stop you. Just the entire idea, and this is going to be like the big part of that section, is there is a problem, there is fantasy world, and there is normal world. What happens? And all the associated weirdness. If you want to play a game in this, I'm not going to like try to stop you at all. It's the idea of being that. And it's like, here's how to run a military campaign. Here's how to run a kind of more independence campaign. The idea being, mold this game however you want to play it. I'm just giving you the tools to do that. That's all I'm going to be doing. Side rules and notes are going to be side rules that I come up with that I think are appropriate. I don't know how. I don't know what's there yet, but we're not there yet. Roughly estimating our the timeline, you could say. If things go according to plan, so let's roughly according to the Plannerino. If today is Wednesday, we can probably get... Actually, We will hammer out the entirety of magic and tech stuff on Friday. This Friday, we'll hammer out. We can probably even do a Notepad Must Die and do the entirety of social, tech, and magic all in one day. We'll just finish that up all at once and make it done. We don't got to think about it anymore. Next week, next Monday, so like right here, 19th, we can start working on equipment. So that would equipment and the types of and depending on how equipment goes, we can probably finish up with campaigns and side rules next Wednesday. If equipment doesn't turn out to be that terrible, we may be able to do everything at once. It's just a game of doing if at anything. This is the current schedule. The current schedule is we want to get this done by next week. That is the goal. Will it happen? We will be hopeful. It'll be effectively 6 episodes, which will be a little bit longer than usual. On a purely analytical basis, we can probably push it back to Friday. Like next Friday will be like the absolute latest we'll be getting this done. That's the goal. That's the method. Will it work? I can only hope. I don't want to get this like too long. Depending on how I'm feeling, I may work on it possibly like Sunday night or something. But tomorrow, actually, what I want to get... Oh, God, I clicked the wrong button again. Oh, Lord. Oh, golly. Oh, golly gee. So, one of the other reasons why I kind of want to wrap up today, being outside the fact that I haven't eaten anything all day. We have the next Curious Case set up. I know what I'm going to be doing. It's going to be the Curious Case of Japanese TRPGs 2. And we are going to be handling Shinobigami, Tokyo Nova, and Kamigakuri. Those are our big 4. If I'm hunting around to get like the nice and pretty book for Kamigakuri, because I only really have the... That's not good, Varric. I don't have the greatest book for it. I have like a very basic one. I want to see if I can get a prettier one. If I can't get that prettier one, I may shift over to Ryutama or Witch Quest. Like, we have options. Like, tentatively speaking, Shinobigami, Tokyo Nova. Then, again, either Witch Quest and Kamigakuri or Witch Quest Ryutama. Like, these are the 2 that are kind of, like, up in the air. I like both. I like Ryutama a lot. I've used it for a lot of stuff, so... And it's a very pretty game. However, in other cases of these things, we have a few other games that have been found, and better for worse. The Curious Case of Fui RPGs number 2. We have Hicks on Draconis and FAP, which, depending on if I find other furry RPGs, may get moved into the Curious Case of Degeneracy. I don't know yet. Let's see with some other ones. We have Dice Punk, that found Dice Punk. We are. I am completely ready to go with Curious Case of games that made it. I have Engine Heart. I have the full version of Busty Barbarian Bimbos, not the old TG version, the full version, and Yoris. It's mostly a game of doing that. We may also be able to do 3 of Curious Case of JTRPGs because of all the Fear games I have. Which is Double Cross, Tenra, things like that. I could probably fish out another one depending on how it goes. Found a lot of franchise games, by the way. Found a lot of those. And let's actually see. What do I have in my folder? Hello, phone. What's up? You want to tell me? Oh, you want to tell me it's 7:30? So, weird things that I have found. Welcome to the new Avatar RPG. It's PBTA. It's PBTA, and I feel like this. I'm big sad. It's not great. It's not great at all. It's like, oh, okay. Kind of seems like I'm hoping this isn't like the final art because it kind of looks like a shit post. I'm not gonna lie. But this one is oof. Actually, I need to check. Can I actually open this? Yes, I can open this. This was inspiring by the curious case of degeneracy, is solely because of this. I'm not looking forward to Black Tokyo. Let's see what some other games I found. Some are gonna get something, others are just like can't, just because some of them are just weird and just don't really fit in anywhere. You'll be getting here, Mr. Deshaw, one day. But yeah, we got stuff lined up. So tomorrow, it would be on Friday, we're going to be working on more Anthrodesis Dissonance, and on Saturday we'll be doing another curious case that I'm looking forward to. So thank you all for watching. Yeah, that's what I need. Enough. This is gonna sound terrible, but I would need another furry RPG to fit that, to kind of get things in the right places of things, so it's like a back and forth how I want to do things. I don't know how I want to do it yet. That's kind of up in the air, and it's kind of the bad up in the air, which is great. So thank you all. If you need to get a hold of me, you know my Discord. Godspeed, good luck, and I will catch you all on Friday, in which we will go over